Hello there, welcome to my channel. It is time with Millie Kuboka. If you're new, welcome to the family. If you're already here, thank you for coming back. And I just want to talk about something interesting today, the stages of grieving. This is something that has come up from my previous posts. If you've not yet watched, please go back and watch it, how grief actually almost took my life. But today I just want to talk about how you can go through the stages of grief. Apparently many people see us go through grief, but many do not know that actually grief has stages all the way to the healing process. And because our channel is all about healing, restoration, we just want to go through the whole process of grief so that we can actually get to know how to deal with grief. Welcome to my channel. Now, as we talk about grief, most of the time we look at grief from a negative point of view. And please don't judge me yet. Allow me to just explain my case. Most of the time we look at grief and we see of the negative, but it's natural experience. Grief is a natural experience that helps us to absorb the shock of a loss or an experience that has happened in our life. And because of this, grief has to take place so that you can go through it all the way to the healing result that we are all looking for. So today, allow me to just take you through stages of grief. And normally there has been like 5 of them, but today we're going to talk about 7, because as human beings, as we evolve and as we continue to learn about ourselves, we get to learn and discover more things about the things that happen in our lives, about the experiences in our lives, about events in our lives. So allow me to just take you through the stages of grief. And if you have a pen, you can take a book and write, or just walk with me in this journey. Now, I want us to go through the first stage. And when you're going through the whole stages of grief, it doesn't have, I'm going to name them normally how it happens in people's lives, but it does not mean that you actually have to go through it as I'm naming it. Some people go through stages of life of grief from number 6, while another one starts from number 1. So don't feel awkward, don't feel funny that you started from number 5. It's just how you walked through the grieving for you. But the first stage of grief is shock. When you receive any news that is shocking or sad, the first thing that our body reacts to or tries to help us to take care of all the emotions that are coming in is shock. Most of the time we'll look at shock as a bad thing, but in this case, your body is trying to suppress all the emotions that maybe would have caused harm to you by just making your body almost be like numb, so that emotion does not come and destroy you or mess you up or something like that. You can take a good example of a shock absorber in the car. You know, all the potholes and the way it helps the car not to be damaged and all that. That is what shock does to us. So in as much as we can look at it from a negative point of it, shock helps us to absorb all the sudden news that we get. So that's the first stage of grief. When you receive a bad news or something, that's the first stage, shock. Now, the second stage that we get into, that is almost the same thing, that is trying to help us with numbing of emotions or something close to that, is something called denial. I don't know if you remember that moment when you received that message and you just don't want to believe that was true. I'll give you an example from my story, the one that I shared, how grief almost took my life. When I received the news of okay, just so from the perception of the news of maybe my aunt is there or not, I was in so much denial, just to make sure that I don't embrace those emotions. And those that watched that, and I encourage you to go back and watch it, I was in denial all the way up to when her coffin was being removed from the hearse. I numbed the feeling, and I think that is one of the things that helped me deal with emotions then. In as much as people will come and tell you, no, you need to embrace the emotions and all that. For someone that doesn't have the capacity at that time, that denial helped me go through the whole process of even getting to a point of going for the burial. I was in denial, yes, but that helped me to even go for that burial. So in as much as we can look at it from a negative point of it, there's a positive. It's a process that we have to take. It's a natural process that we have to take. But the thing is, we try to look at the negatives of everything, that we forget the positive of some things that happen in our lives. Grief, yes, it's painful, but it helps us absorb the shocks and the news and the experiences that are not so good in our lives. So denial, if you've lost someone, if you've gone through a loss even in business, that denial at that particular time helps you to take care of your emotions at that time. I'm not saying go through it all. No, I'm not saying stay in denial. No, what I'm saying is just allow the process to help you heal. And I know you are in denial, but it comes to a time where you have to come out of it. But it's a process that you have to take. The next step that we go through in grief is something that is called anger. This is interesting because when I was going through grief, mine took 8 months. Some take 1 year, some 2, some more, some less. So there's no timeline to grief. No one should tell you grief for 1 year, grief for 2 years. No, 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 no. It's different with every other person. Now, the third stage, anger, is what most of us use as an excuse to stay in grief or to stay in this particular stage. I'll use my example. When my aunt died, I didn't know why I wanted to hold on to the pain. The pain was giving me meaning. The pain was giving me, I felt like I deserved that pain because I wasn't there with her when she died. But it wasn't as clear as now that is what I was holding on to. I just knew I was angry, and I was trying to project that anger to anything and anyone. I projected this anger to God. I projected this anger to my spouse, to my friends, to the people around me. It was me transferring my anger to other people to give meaning to what I was feeling. So most of the time, when you're going through grief, you'll find someone that is angry. They cut off talking to people. They cut off communication with God. They cut off communication with loved ones. They justify. They're angry about something. Either they were not there, or why did they leave, or why God did you take this person, or why didn't you wait, or the doctors. You can even project your anger to the doctors. The doctors did not do enough. We did not do anything to help. You project that anger to someone. So I'm very sure you have identified someone that is angry about a particular loss, and they have projected it to their spouse or to the doctors or to any other person but them. So that is what happened to me. I was angry. I was angry at God. I was angry at the situation. I was angry at my aunt. Why didn't you come into my wedding? Why didn't you wait until you attended my reassurance? So this is a stage of grief. In as much as many people don't want to associate with you when you are angry, it's a stage of grief that many people need to understand and relate with you. They can help you walk out of it. They can help you see that you're actually projecting your anger to the wrong person. I'm not saying continue staying angry with yourself, but just identify that you're angry, but now not why you are angry. Are you angry at another person? Are you angry at yourself? How do you go about it? What do you do about it? Do you need to seek help? Something like that. So as we continue, that is number 3. Now, number 4 is what is also not very common, but we can try and put it in such a way that I'm trying to see how to make you say this number 5. Anyway, I mean number 4. Number 4 is what we call bargaining, where you are trying to do like, if I give you this, give me this. If I do this, you do this. I remember having that conversation with God when remember that conversation I had with God on Thursday, and I was telling God, please just keep her. If I'm the one that has wronged you, please forgive me so that you can keep her. That kind of thing, where we are trying to have a negotiation. If you do this, I'm going to do this. Please, if you can return this person back, I will serve you for the rest of my life. If you do this, it's a bargaining place. But you're also trying to it's a place where you're also trying to look for a solution to come out of that pain with a bargain, if I may say. So with this grieving stage, many people don't even notice they're bargaining, but most of us actually do it in our silent closets, in our silent moments, when you're just covering yourself in that duvet and you're crying and you're trying to, like, God, if you can do this, I can actually do this. God, if you can just do this, or you can, you just try to bargain your way out of that pain, you know. So at least that shows that you're trying to get your healing. You're trying to be well. So don't beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up. It's just a process that you have to go through, and you're the one that is going through it. So allow yourself to go through that pain. So number 5 is what is critical but important. It's called depression. This is where you lose meaning. Like you're feeling like you did the beginning, you did this, and still nothing worked. This time you want to just cut everyone from your life. You just want to stop everything. You literally want the world to stop completely. You're depressed. Nothing works. No one is making sense. No one speaks sense. Nothing is working in your life according to you. So depression is real in grieving. And I remember also myself, I got depressed to the point where I cut off people, I cut off relationships. This has come all the way to affect my present life. My new status and my new life right now has been affected by that season. And when you are depressed, it's easy for you to step on people. It's easy for you to crush relationships. It's easy for you to shut people because there's no meaning to life at this very moment. You're at this point where even if I crush whatever I crush, it's okay. But in as much as this stage, in as much as it is hurting you and hurting other people, it brings an awareness of the things in your life, the inside person in you that you actually didn't know existed. That fact that you can stay away from people and be okay, those kind of things. So with depression, it has a negative side because you're crushing things that are important in your life, but it also mirrors your life, the real you. It shows you the weaknesses and the strengths in you. Even in that time when you're alone, you'll find that sometimes you get to understand who you are. And even sometimes it can show you who is with you and who is not with you. It can show you how people relate with you when you're at your lowest. It can show you how to handle yourself when you are at your lowest. So Depression is also a stage of grief that takes place. And also now, another stage that is also new in this study is a stage called testing. Testing is where you've come out of depression and you keep going back. One moment you're okay, another time you're not okay. You're trying to see, if I go to church and relate with people, am I good? If I go to talk to this person, is this person good with me, or did I crush it completely? You are showing signs of wanting to live again. You are showing signs of wanting to heal. So at this point, you might not completely be as you were before the loss, but one thing that is going to happen is you will come, and there is a sign you have of desiring to heal. One moment you're going out with people for lunch, the other time you don't want. One moment you want to talk to everyone, the other time you don't want. One moment you want to cook with everyone, the other time you don't want. So it's a testing stage where you are showing signs of healing, and it's not a place where you've completely healed. So it's okay if one time you want to pull back and just be with yourself and understand your emotions, understand how you are dealing with yourself, understand how you are holding up. But the good thing is you are showing signs of healing and wanting to be back with the community, wanting to be back to your normal self. The last stage is acceptance. Now, I need to be careful with this, because when you say acceptance, especially to the people that are working with you, it does not mean that now you've completely healed, and even if they mention that person, or if you see that person, or if you remember a birthday that you shared with that person, and all of a sudden it is a trigger, you don't feel any pain. No. When you talk about acceptance, what we mean is you have gone through the whole process, and you are accepting that this person and this experience is with you for the rest of your life, and you're going to walk and live the life with this loss, but does not mean that it's going to define who you really are moving on. So accepting means you've accepted the Lord has taken this person, or this and this happened in your life, and you are willing to move on, but does not mean that this experience will never be part of your life. It will be part of your life, only that it does not have the hold it had from the beginning. Now, it's important that I say this, especially to the people that are working with someone that is grieving. No one has to go through a particular stage, especially in the form of from stage 1 to stage 7, where someone has lost someone or has lost something, and your expectation is, okay, I need you to cry now so that you can be okay later. Mm-mm. There are instances where someone will accept. You've had someone, maybe someone has lost someone, and then they come and say, okay, it is the will of God. I accept the will of God. They will say that in that instance. But as soon as they leave your presence, and maybe the burial is done and everything is done, they go back to wait. The shock. Am I not? Wait, this person is no longer with me. Their presence is no longer with me. Wait, what's going on? And then they're like, by the way, why did you not wait for this and this? Why did you die? They now start experiencing anger. One moment they're like, why God, why didn't you just wait for this person to do this? They go through bargaining, and then all of a sudden, let me just continue, let me see if I talk with this person is going to work. They go through testing. So there's no particular order that an individual has to go through these stages. Yes, people majority go through this, but does not mean that every other person has to go through this. So if you meet me and I'm grieving, and my first reaction is I'm angry, don't come saying, why are you angry? Instead, you should be like what I said, my testimony on how God allowed me to see his sovereignty. And I'm like, you should be happy that God actually gave you this person. You can't come with such statements and tell people how to grieve. You can just walk with them in the journey of grieving. If you find them in the acceptance, walk with them. If you find them at the anger level, walk with them. If they're in shock, be the person to hold them until they come out of shock. So we can't be at a place where we are ignorant of how people grieve and be the people that are making people feel bad that they are grieving. I don't know if I'm making sense there. Let's say someone is taking 2 years to grieve based on how they are feeling or how they are going through their grieving process. You can't be the person telling them they need to snap out of it. You can't be the person trying to make them feel guilty for being in pain. You need to be the person that needs to, and they identify where they are in the stage of grief so that you can walk with them and help them heal faster into the acceptance and whatever stage of the healing looks like for them. So let's be the people that are willing to help others walk through the journey without making them walk the journey the way we want them to walk the healing journey. And just maybe to wind up this grieving process is, when you are going through grief, it's okay to seek help. It's okay to seek counseling. It's okay to tell someone that you're in pain, or now I want to go through the testing process, or I'm angry. And it's okay to also spell out emotions where you can say, I feel empty. You define your emotions or give a name to your emotions, and you say, I feel empty, I feel angry, I feel alone. So that by the time you say how you're feeling, another person can be able to see where you are and walk with you. Now, I came with an exercise that I want us to do very fast. And I just want to ask you to please just look for a paper, a plain paper, white to be precise. And I just want us to do it in a very interesting way. Okay? Just one minute. So I want us to take a piece of paper, white, plain like this. Mine, I have drawn this circle so that I show you what I want us to do. Take a piece of paper, white, and I want you to draw a circle, big circle that will cover the whole, almost just the center of the paper. Just the center, one circle. Mine is 2, but 1. I don't know if you can see, but just draw a circle at the center. I want you to do this. I want you to write everything good about that person that you've lost. The family person or a friend that you lost. I want you to write anything good you remember about them. Let's say I loved their smile. Now I'll write in my paper, I loved how my aunt smiled. I loved how we cooked together. I liked this. Write every emotion, every memory you have of that person at the center. Now, after you've written all that, I want you to write every negative pain that you feel because of the loss. I'm angry, feel empty, I feel alone, I feel depressed, I feel hurt. Whatever emotion you're feeling, I want you to write it like that. Now, after you're done writing, I want you to tear the negative part out in a circle. in a circle like this. Make sure you don't tear the whatever that is inside the circle, like this. Now I have my negatives out like this, and my, so if you notice, don't mind the circle, you'll do the better job. If you've noticed, all the negatives are out, you are left with the positives. But even as much as I have removed the negatives, there are traces of there was something torn on the side. It's not perfect. This symbolizes that yes, you're healing, this is good, and there's a mark of something that was removed. So just because you're healing doesn't mean there's no scar. It doesn't mean there is no memory of that loss. It is there. The only good thing is it is not having hold of you. It's out. It was there, but it is out. So what you can do is cut off whatever you felt. Remain with this. Yes, you're hurting. Yes, there is a scar, but you're free. I hope you've done that exercise. Now, make sure that you leave a comment of how you felt when you did this exercise. Let me know where you are in terms of grieving, the stage, or if someone that you know, where they are, if you've taken time, at least the interest to know where the person is in the stages of grief. Also, make sure that you recommend counseling to someone that is hurting. That was it from Millie Gold Kuboka. It is time, and I believe it is time for us to talk about these difficult conversations that we don't dare to actually talk about. Please remember to subscribe, remember to comment, remember to share. Also, make sure that notification bell is so that you get every notification. We have amazing conversations coming up, how partners also grieve, those people that are working with you, how they are affected by the grief, how children also grieve. Amazing conversations. You just need to make sure that you are connected all through. And this is a family. We are connected one or another. Just make sure that you share with someone so that at least they can know where they are, or even aid them in the healing journey. Thank you for staying tuned, and welcome back always whenever we have a video posted.